And the geek shall inherit the podcast. What's up, everybody? It's your boy Scoop Dog. We're going to talk about this Kanye West documentary, the Ye documentary. In whose name? That's how I hear him posing the question when I read the title. It got leaked a few days ago, which is why I think a lot of people are talking about it. Otherwise, I don't know who would want to sit in a theater for 2 hours and just watch Kanye talk highly of himself and then spaz out. Talk highly about himself, spaz out. That goes on literally. I lasted for about an hour before I just tapped out. My brain could not take the repetition of insanity that goes through this documentary. And just to think that there's 3,000 hours of footage that the director shot and they had to cut it down to 2 hours. And we see the infamous moment on SNL, and we get to finally see this backstage moment that he had with Michael Che.
Treat everybody that come in like family, and you gonna sell us out like that's up, man. We look up to you, we love you. Wow, what you got against us?
I mean, I do have some things against SNL.
That's cool, but I mean, airing it out like that without letting us be able to reply is kind of foul. You wait till the last song, and then say that foul to us, and we brought you in here for.
Let's talk about the way
But I'm not cool though.
I get it, but.
And you see the guy behind Michael Che. That's a rapper named Consequence. Consequence at one point was a very well respected rapper. He was part of the Tribe Called Quest camp. He is actually Q-Tip's cousin, and he gave a lot of great contributions to hip-hop, especially on Beats, Rhymes, and Life, one of my favorite Tribe Called Quest albums, where he came in as a new member. But when he joined, he's been signed to Kanye West's Good Music, which I don't think is existing anymore. But he's pretty much the biggest coattail MF that you can find. He will defend Kanye, and not as a friend. A lot of people misconstrued his actions as the motive of someone who's looking out as a friend. He needs music in his career. He needs beats. And Kanye has not sat down to produce an album with him yet. He's worked with his artists like John Legend. He's worked with Big Sean. He produced Pusha T's records, but has not sat down to produce anything for Consequence. What he does is he gives Consequence a hard drive with super old beats and lets him choose from those. And you can hear whenever he puts out a song and saying, "Oh, I got a new Kanye West song produced by Kanye West or featuring Kanye West," it's never a new song and it's never featuring Kanye West. They're very old beats, and they contain samples of Kanye West maybe saying one line in the chorus, and that's what nowadays can qualify as a feature. You see it even on the Cardi B album where it says Principal featuring Janet Jackson. Man, Janet Jackson ain't on no damn Cardi B song. It's a sample that they use that's prominent enough to be considered as a feature. So you see them in this clip, and Che is really pissed off about the whole setup because they didn't know that the cast was brought on stage to be humiliated like that and have to stand behind him while he spoke this horrible rhetoric and that no one believed in. And he felt like Kanye took a shot at him because Che made a remark about Bill Cosby, and Kanye brought that up on stage too while Che was right there with him. So that's one of the biggest highlights that I took away from this. I just like seeing, that Kanye became kind of small in that moment. I noticed that he has a lot of energy and anger when talking towards people who don't really challenge what he says. He could spaz on a lot of women. He can spaz on someone like Chance the Rapper or Justin Bieber. But real brothers, so to speak, you hear the change in his tone. He's talking like, I didn't mean it like that. But when you get him off camera, he's spazzing out like this and he's talking crazy like that. He's going on in the most ways. So I like seeing that Che brought him down a few notches. And even Van from TMZ, I can't remember his last name, with the slavery is a choice thing, you saw it there too. That screaming energy was suddenly brought down to a soft tone when a brother who stands on his beliefs confronted him. So, with that said, one of the most eeriest parts of this documentary came in this scene where he is talking to one of these Swiss architects and playing a rendition of Somewhere Over the Rainbow by Kenny G. That, to me, you may wonder why is that disturbing? Why is that eerie? For a lot of reasons. But someone like myself, who I've done a lot of research on mind control, the Hollywood sacrifices, and stuff like that, and a very interesting article that I read many years ago called "The Deconstruction of an Illuminati Robot," which was about Kanye West. The use of that song is very synonymous with mind control. It's a soother when the quote unquote robot starts to malfunction, right? Or when you need to, tame the savage beast. So with that, I'm going to just read you a quick excerpt from my book that I wrote in December 2024. It's called The House of Infinite Doors, and I make usage of this and that song in particular. Check it out. Douglas carefully opened the door, and the stench of alcohol, vomit, and bleach invaded his nostrils. He held his breath, stepped into the putridly stench room, and shut the door behind him. Holding his breath, he made sure to lock the door and close the curtain on the door window. His back was turned when he heard her voice. "Are you a fan of Judy Garland?" Douglas froze in place, his heartbeat quickening. "The name sounds familiar," Douglas responded. "Is she Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz?" Now that's the first little drop of it. And once again, here's another little excerpt from my book where we're talking about it. In the same chapter, she looked at Douglas, nodding her head slowly as if everything was starting to make sense, or so Douglas hoped. That hope went down the drain when she smiled suddenly and sang, "Somewhere over the rainbow, la 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 la." So what I'm trying to do here in these little excerpts is show the connection of mind control with music. If you remember something like from Captain America Brave New World, it was a song that triggered the Manchurian Candidate, so to speak. In history, music was embedded with secret messages and frequencies that only people who were trained to hear it would hear. Sort of like I think one of the most famous stories is Helter Skelter and the White Album, the Beatles, from the Beatles and Charles Manson. So the fact that Kanye would resort to that song, Somewhere Over the Rainbow, and a very rare one at that. It doesn't matter who's singing it. It's about the frequency, and it's about the hidden messages in the lyrics. I found that to be just very fascinating, and it connects back to that article that I read many years ago called "The Kanye West, the Deconstruction of an Illuminati Robot," and it just broke down a lot of Hollywood occult things that he was into, the humiliation thing that he went through. We know that he was locked up in a mental institution for a few weeks where we didn't see him, and then when he finally came out, his hair was all blonde and he was no longer the same Kanye West that we knew prior to that. So that was just something I wanted to drop on you guys. Have you seen the documentary yet? And I can't imagine anyone wanting to go to the theater to sit down for 2 hours to watch Kanye spazzing out and yelling and calling himself Picasso and Michael Jackson and Walt Disney, and then yelling some more. If you have, let me know your thoughts on everything. Drop a comment below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Catch you guys on the next one. Peace.